Hello, I'm going to discuss the most common statistical tests for inferential statistics for today. So, the first common statistical test for inferential statistics is independent samples t-test. So, when do we use the independent samples t-test? So, we use this test to compare the means, okay, the average between two independent groups or categories. So you have to take note that when we use independent samples t-test, the independent variable must be categorical data and it must be dichotomous. What do you mean by dichotomous variable? Dichotomous means to say a variable that has two categories. For example, sex. Okay, so sex has two categories. We have male and female. Okay, so that's we mean by dichotomous. No, take note, the independent variable is a categorical data, so it must be a qualitative data. Okay, the next is the dependent variable must be scale. What do you mean by scale? Scale is a quantitative data, or it must be a continuous data. So for as long as the dependent variable is quantitative, then it's possible that we are going to make use of the independent samples t-test. Okay, so again, the independent variable must be categorical, okay, and dichotomous, meaning it has only two categories, and the dependent variable is a quantitative variable. Okay, and this is very important that the dependent variable must be normally distributed. Okay, so the variable that we want to measure in the test must be normally distributed. So usually we make use of the Smirnov-Kolmogorov and the Shapiro-Wilk test to test whether our dependent variable is normally distributed. Okay, so it says here, when we interpret the output, if the p-value is less than 0.05 level of significance, there is a significant difference between the means of the two groups. So what we do is to report the means of the two groups or their mean differences, okay, from the SPSS output to compare, okay, or to describe their difference. So let us open a file to examine differences. Okay, so let's open a file on weight management. The question is there a significant difference between the weight goal of the male and female participants before the weight management activity? Okay, so the variables here are sex and weight goal. And take note, the sex is a dichotomous, okay? It's categorical data and it has two groups. And the weight goal here is what we call the dependent variable, which is a quantitative data. Okay, which is a quantitative data. So see, sex is a categorical data with only two groups, while the weight goal is the scale variable, okay, or numerical data. Okay, so this is our independent variable, and this is our dependent variable. So let's try to open a data on SPSS. So this is the SPSS file for weight management. So our question a while ago is that is there a significant difference between the weight goal of the participants, male and female, before the activity or the weight management activity? So just click analyze here and then click compare means and then look for independent sample t-test. Okay, so this is the independent samples t-test. So just click this one. Okay. And then our testing variable is the dependent variable. So the weight goal of the participants. That's the weight goal. So we transferred it on the test variable. Just click the arrow. Okay. And then next is our grouping variable, the independent variable, which is the sex. Okay. Then click the arrow. Okay. Then we define what will be our group 1 and group 2. So our group 1 is the male and group 2 is the female. Okay, so that's our coding variable while ago. Okay, and then click continue. Okay, so then click OK. Just wait for the moment. Okay, so this is the output. Okay, the SPSS output to our inferential questions while ago. Okay, so next is that we are going now to interpret the data. Okay, so our question while ago is that is there a significant difference on the weight goal of the participants before the management activity? Okay, so this is the output while ago. Okay, so if you look into the independent sample t-test table, okay, so how do we interpret the data now? So if the significant value here is greater than 0.05, we read it this way. Okay, this way. Okay, but if the significant value here is less than 0.05, so we read it below the table. Okay, so since this is greater than 0.05, so we are going to record the value of t here, which is 2.058, our degrees of freedom, which is 37, and our significant value, which is 0.047. So this is our focus now. If the p-value is less than 0.05 level of significance, meaning to say there is a significant difference. Okay, so this is our point of reference in any kind of inferential statistics. The significant value, or this is what we call the p-value, would be our basis if there is a significant difference or not in our inferential questions. So again, since this is less than 0.05, then we could say that there is a significant difference between the weight goal of the participants before and after the activity. And if you look into the descriptive table, okay, the mean weight goal of male is higher than female. So the mean weight goal of male is 61 kilograms, while the mean weight goal of female is 56.67 kilograms. So again, it's higher, okay? Male weight goal is higher than female group. Okay, so this is now a sample write-up of our activity. An independent sample t-test was conducted to examine whether there is a significant difference between male and female group in relation to their weight goal before the conduct of the activity. So the test revealed that there is a significant difference between male and female groups since the p-value is less than 0.05 level of significance. Okay, then we are going to report the t-value, the degrees of freedom, and the p-value. So male group reported significantly higher weight goal than the female group. This can be concluded that the male are more confident on weight goal loss before the weight management activity than the female group. So next is, of course, we have to look into data that could support our findings. Okay, so for men, exercise itself was the best predictor of quality of life. Okay, so in other words, higher levels of exercise in men were associated with higher quality of life. So this suggests that men may be able to improve their quality of life with increased exercise no matter what reasons for exercise men give. Okay? Then don't forget to write the author and the year. Okay, so that's how we are going to make use of the independent sample t-test. Okay,